So for the back muscles, one of the main things that I want to fix is the deltoid. Sorry, not the deltoid, the trapezius muscle, which is this big, huge mass that we have right here, and that right now it's completely lost on our character, right? So you can see that there's a specific distance that we have here from the clavicle all the way to this big mass on the back of the character. So I'm going to use this move brush, and I'm just going to create the big mass so that we can capture the size that I'm expecting to see. But as you can see, one of the things that's going to happen here is that now the head's going to look like it's like not where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to press Control and lasso to lasso this head right here. I'm going to press W and I'm going to push the head up a little bit because as I've mentioned before, you should always see a little bit of the neck. Even if it's like super buffed and strong like this guy right here, we should always see it a little bit here on the front view. I'm also going to push the deltoids out a little bit. This is going to allow me to create this very nice ramp right here. And one of the main muscles that definitely gives us a nice silhouette is the neck muscle that we've seen before, this one right here. So I'm going to add the big muscle right around there. Usually there's a little bit of a dip right in this area. We've got a lot of other muscles right there, like the platysma and some very interesting nerve and arteries. But in this case, I'm gonna try to keep it simple right here. There we go. Just move brush to keep this very straight, and we get the trapezius muscle right there. And again, if we see it, it should make sense. Like everything should make sense in context and everything. So if we need to adjust a couple of things, for instance, the face here with the main brush, we should make sure that it doesn't look so flat. Right now, I don't love this side view that we have right here. So we have to do some adjustments. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push the chest and the whole area a little bit higher up to make him like give this more heroic effect. And back here, we definitely need to push the volume of the back as well. Probably lower the deltoids just a tad bit. And again, making sure that we're matching everything. Sometimes I find it easy if we, for instance, draw the mouth to give an idea of how the character is going to be like looking. It looks very funny with this like super huge like neck. I still want to like push the neck a little bit higher up, just so that he doesn't have like this like chubby neck, right? Let's push this neck in. I know with stylized characters there's always a little bit of like unrealistic proportions, but even when you're doing unrealistic proportions, you should still try to keep it in a believable way. So on the back, the main muscle is going to be, of course, this huge mass that we have right here, which is called the trapezius muscle. It has this sort of like triangular looking shape. So as you can see, we're going to go down here. And we're going to use the scapulas to create three main bundles right here. So first, underneath the scapula, we're going to have the latissimus dorsi, as we've mentioned before. So it's going to be this huge volume right here. It's usually a relatively thin muscle, so I am going to use my Train Dynamic here to flatten certain things a little bit and make it look a little bit more, again, like stylized. We should see it quite a big volume on this like front part, but on this side it should be like fairly straight. There we go. That looks very nice. I actually really like the angle that we're getting right there. And on this area where the scapula is, we're going to have two main bundles. One of the muscles is called the infraspinatus, which is going to be like right around here. And then we have a couple of other like muscles called the teres major and teres minor. Not really important to remember all the names. It's more important about remembering the volumes that we capture. It's going to be right around there. Again, there's going to be more like things that we need to finish to make sure that this looks as nice as possible. But it's usually a couple of bundles that we see right there. The trapezius I'm going to make a little bit bigger, going on top of some of the scapula right there. And there we go. On the lower side, we usually have what I like to call the shotgun, is the erector spinae, I believe it's called, which allows us to bend backwards. Okay, so it's going to be like this two pipes. Over here, we're going to have, of course, the obliques, which go forward into the hip area. And that's pretty much it. Of course, there's a ton more muscles. We've mentioned this before. We have over 600 muscles in the whole body. But these are the muscles that we really care the most about. Of course, down here, we're going to have the glutes. So we can already add a little bit of the volume here. Even though we're not doing the legs right now, we can just like get a general idea of how the glutes are going to look. One important thing about the back, as we've mentioned before, is we have this very like huge mass right here, and then it pushes forward, generating this area, and then it pushes back again with the glutes. So I am gonna make his butt a little bit bigger. to support the whole weight. Otherwise, it's going to look a little bit weird. And I'm going to push the erector spinae, as I just mentioned, a little bit closer in. Let's isolate the chest. Not too much. You can see that that's way too much. Let's isolate the chest. And I'm going to use my move brush again to just adjust the proportions here. When we see this thing from the side, we want to look, or it should look, again, fairly similar to this, sort of like a bean element. I think I pushed the abdominal muscles way too forward, so I'm going to push them a little bit back. Now, the cool thing about this is since we're still in Dynamesh, we can do a lot of these changes, and it's not really going to affect our main model. So we can just continue to play around with the proportions until we find something that looks nice. As you can see, the distance here on the neck towards the head shouldn't be that big. So either we bring the head back. I think I'm going to bring the head back a little bit like that. And then just like smooth that out. Smooth it out so that most of that volume is closer to this area. There we go. Maybe even more, to be honest. You can see the distance here. So this is the middle of the face, and the distance that we have from the middle of the face to the chest should not be that high. So I think mine was like way too forward facing just a second ago. Now, of course, the hair of the character, the beard, and all those things are going to help to hide the sort of like a cartoony, whimsical look that we have right now, or the super stylized effect. But we're going to have to add that a lot later. So right now, we're just focusing on the main shapes. Some of you might be wondering, are we going to split the head into a different subtool given the fact that we don't have enough subdivision? And the answer is yes. Most probably, we're going to have the head as a separate subtool. And then at the very end, if we need to, we'll just like join everything back together. But yeah, this looks looking good. Let's move the arms back a little bit more right there. And that's it. We got the trapezius muscle right here. Let's use Stream Dynamic to clean it up a little bit. I'm going to use clay buildup to rebuild a little bit of the skull here on the back of the character. Very important. And on the back here, of course, we're going to have the spine. So there's usually like a group that goes or runs along the whole back, and that's our spine that it's being protected by all of the muscles here on the back. There we go. Oh, my tablet is doing some weird sounds now. I think I'm running out of the tip. So again, Train Dynamic to clean this. And again, trapezius, infraspinatus, teres major and teres minor combined, they create this volume right here. Latissimus dorsi, that goes kind of like a mantle around the character. The shotgun muscle right here, and the obliques going forward. Those are the main muscles that we're going to see on the back. Again, there's way more muscles. If you want to go and study a little bit more of the deep anatomy that we have and how it affects the superficial muscles, that's fine. But in this case, we're going to focus on main forms, on primary forms, and those are the ones that I'm talking about. So here on the very side of the element, this is where the latissimus dorsi ends, like on the side of the character like this. So it generates this sort of like construction. And from beneath that muscle is where the serratus anterior, all of these like little fingers are going to start like poking out. We usually see about 3 fingers right there. So I'm going to draw the 3 fingers already. And then from here, we got the another like blanket that goes around the whole anatomy. It covers most of the muscles on the front, very thin. But this is the kind of stuff that you see in very stylized work as well, where it goes on top of the rib cage and it creates all of this like little bundles of muscles. Looks very cool. We can also already add the nipples, which are going to be like right around there. And there we go. Now, usually I don't like having the face. It kind of like distracts me. I like to work on the face at the very end. So I'm going to Dynamesh this to clean it up quite a bit. So I'm just going to have the main form, and that way I can focus on the anatomy without getting distracted by the face. This muscle right here goes behind the ears. So this is the sternocleidomastoides muscle, very famous one, very obvious one, relatively easy to sculpt. And again, don't forget about the little like holes or the empty areas, such as this guy right there, and the deltopectoral group right here. On the next video, we're going to take a look at the upper arm, some of the main muscles of the upper arm. Again, don't worry about the details. We're just doing the basic construction right now. We're going to have a whole chapter where we're going to polish all of the characters. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We definitely need to add the deltoids. Those are going to help quite a bit to build the whole like upper torso. So we're going to take a look at the arm in the next video. Make sure to get to this point and don't forget to save. I'm actually going to save this as a version 2. And this is one, before we just like quickly, before we go, this is one very cool thing I'd like to do, which is just open the previous versions, as you know, and just like take a look at how much we can change things by just pushing and pulling all of these forms out and generating the main masses. No need to worry about wrinkles, no need to worry about anything else. It's just the main masses that we're capturing, and this thing is already looking quite buffed. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you back on the next video.